Situationships. Situationships, huh? They're the ones that go something like, I don't know what this is, but it's fun, right? When you and another person are in that awkward phase when you feel a connection, maybe even a strong spark, but anyone who asks, so, are you two a thing? After exchanging glances, you both say, which triggers an uncomfortable shrug. There's no apparent explanation for why you're constantly messaging and maybe even spending a lot of time together. Are you in a similar relationship? Do you consider yourselves friends with benefits? Is that an additional component? Absolutely no one has a clue. Everyone, including you and your muddled emotions, is invited to Situationshipville. Anyone looking for a touch of romance without the commitment of a committed relationship would find Situationships to be the perfect fit. Without the scary talk where you both agree to be official, it's like having all the benefits of a relationship without the commitment. Attention, tenderness, and the odd Netflix marathon with someone adorable. Have no expectations, no labels. Here, you may relax and enjoy each other's company without venturing into too intensive a relationship. While for some, this is perfect, it's a method to satisfy your need for connection without giving up the independence that comes with not answering to anybody. Everyone is free to be themselves. But, and here's where things get interesting, situationships may quickly devolve into a passionate cacophony when one partner develops emotions and desires more. One person becomes emotionally attached, begins planning for the future, and then suddenly everything falls apart. Out of nowhere, you find yourself conversing in two whole different tongues, as if one were to propose a romantic weekend retreat and the other were to say, so, who's going to the movie marathon tonight? Because one person was emotionally playing it safe while the other dove headlong into the deep end, misunderstandings, unfulfilled expectations, and even heartbreak might result from a lack of defined limits. This is the epitome of ambiguity. Situationships may last for a long time, which is a surprising turn of events, years indeed. In fact, incalculably, many individuals have spent an interminable amount of time mired in the not quite but maybe zone. You're making progress, but you're not really making much headway. It's like being stuck in a hamster wheel. Neither of you is able to take the relationship to the next level, even if you both love each other's company and feel a strong connection. In any case, you and your partner are in a state of love purgatory where neither of you wants to upset the apple cart. It's like taking a little swim in the pool before diving in head first. Karmic Relationship. Okay, so you and your pals are having a blast at the party until someone comes in and then it hits you like a ton of bricks. They seem familiar even though you've never met them before. As soon as you start talking to someone, you're staring at each other intently, exchanging anecdotes about your lives as if you've known each other for decades. An intense, electrifying, and instantaneous connection is formed. It's as if you've met someone in a dream and the whole thing seems predetermined. But after a few weeks, you feel like you're on an intense roller coaster. You could be ecstatic one minute and furious the next over something you had no idea was a problem. This is the essence of a karmic connection. According to popular belief in this kind of partnership, both partners are bound together by karma from previous incarnations. The universe has determined that it is time for you to resolve some outstanding matters. It's like getting assigned to a group project you weren't originally interested in, but instead of making a PowerPoint, you have to deal with people's feelings. In a karmic connection, the presence of immediate, irrefutable chemistry is the first indicator. As soon as you lay eyes on each other, you feel an irresistible pull, but as you know, magnets may also repel, creating a little tension. The arguments and fights will be just as powerful as the desire, even if it seems like you've known this person your whole life. Relationships that are karmic might be difficult and unpredictable. In all candor, the universe could care less about your ease in this situation, therefore you shouldn't expect them to be easy or last forever. The objective is to make you feel uncomfortable so that you may push yourself beyond your limits. After that point, it's not uncommon for the relationship to end. Being sent to an emotional boot camp is the best way to describe it. Another thing to keep in mind is that you should definitely go on when it becomes emotionally taxing and poisonous. Rebound Relationship. Okay, so you and your partner of almost 3 years just split up and you're devastated. Every single thing brings up memories of him to the point that you can't even face the day or enjoy a meal without thinking about him. Your buddies try to divert your attention by telling you that getting beneath another guy is the only way to move on from a broken relationship. Dumb advice, I tell ya. However, after going through such a wild ride emotionally, you do this and you end yourself in a new relationship in no time. You have recently engaged into a rebound romance, similar to placing a new new loaf of bread in the toaster just after the first slice gets toasted. This happens when you get into a new love relationship soon after a split. Having pizza by yourself may become lonely, therefore this form of connection might be a way to escape from your misery, fill an emotional hole, or just to keep from being lonely. You jump into something new without giving yourself time to recover, as if it were an emotional superglue that will mend all your broken bones. Unfortunately, that's not even close to how it works. Attempting to treat a fractured arm with a band-aid is the same as this. Although you have applied a bandage, the injury has not been really cured. When you start to compare your current relationship to the previous one, it might make you feel worse. What makes this situation intriguing, however, is that not every rebound will be successful. Surprisingly, there are instances when individuals discover a genuine connection with their rebound mates. Some people discover love in the most unexpected places, and sometimes that rebound may lead to something more serious. It's not common, but it does occur. It would be like ordering an appetizer and getting the main meal all at once if you found your forever partner while you were just seeking a diversion. Obviously, it's a leap of faith, as no one wants to begin a relationship on unstable ground. However, sometimes the heart has other intentions, even while it's still healing. Polygamous. So you're in the mall meeting a friend when you see a dashing guy. You approach him, strike up a conversation, and eventually exchange numbers. Surprisingly, all of his friends are women, and he wants to introduce you to them shortly after. The 4 women he just introduced to you are apparently all involved in committed relationships with him, and they are all aware of each other. Despite how bizarre it may seem, what we have here is really polygamy, not some reality TV show. The main premise is that one individual may have a number of romantic partners or spouses all at once. In polygamous partnerships, all partners are aware of and okay with the arrangement, thus no, it was not cheating. Imagine a romantic smorgasbord where there are plenty of options and everyone is involved. Still, it's not easy to navigate this kind of relationship. Think about the difficulty of keeping track of not just one, but 3 distinct preferences in cuisine, music, birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions. Even in polygamous relationships, communication is vital to success. If you want to avoid confusion over who is responsible for picking up the groceries this week or how to organize upcoming holidays and feasts, it can be helpful to set up a WhatsApp group conversation for everyone. Managing people's schedules, emotions, and sentiments simultaneously is like juggling. The green-eyed monster that is jealousy isn't exactly welcome in polyamorous circles where it generally lurks. Compersion, on the other hand, is when one spouse feels delight for another partner. It's the same as being glad for a buddy who gets to enjoy a tasty lunch without you being present. Only that the meal is... I think you understand the point. When one relationship fails to satisfy a person's emotional, romantic, or even practical requirements, they may turn to polygamy as a solution. It's as if they're saying, I love you, but I also have a lot of love to give. They hold the belief that love has no bounds and that different people may be loved in various ways. Monogamy. Imagine for a second that you are at a social gathering and that you overhear 2 individuals in the corner of the room engaged in what seems like an isolated conversation, complete with laughter and hand-holding. Well, what you might have just seen is a monogamous couple, like an elite club with a strict 2-member policy. When 2 individuals choose to focus only on one another for their romantic and personal needs, they are engaging in monogamy. They may be placing all their hopes on one thing, but hey, at least they aren't wasting their eggs. In this relationship type, being faithful is paramount. For a monogamous relationship to thrive, both partners must commit to being loyal and true to one another. Trust is also crucial. Plus, if you can narrow your attention to just one person, you'll find that your life becomes more consistent and solid. You'd essentially always have someone to accompany you to special events like weddings, gaming nights, and uncomfortable family meals. True, monogamous relationships aren't always peaches and cream. Sometimes they're more akin to a cringe-worthy, difficult, but ultimately satisfying 3-legged race. Supporting one another's moods, strange habits, and personal growth and development is an important part of learning to sync up your steps. A monogamous relationship boils down to 2 people making the same conscious decision regarding each other on a daily basis. It's expressing, of all the people in the world, you're the one I want to argue about dishwasher loading techniques with for the rest of my life. Open relationship. When you decide to use Tinder after years of being unattached, you'll find a match in an instant. Shortly after, you and your Tinder match decide to go out to dinner. Little do you know, it's on your date that he reveals the truth. He's married. Apparently, they have an open marriage, so he assures you that his wife is okay with his having sexual intercourse with other people and going on dates. When a married couple, or those in a committed relationship, both agree that it's okay for each partner to date or have sexual encounters with other people, it's called an open marriage or relationship. Assuming you and your partner are amicable, it's like having a preferred pizza shop but sometimes indulging on a piece from another joint without feeling guilty. You could be asking, isn't this just cheating with a fancier name? The answer is no, since the two most important factors are honesty and agreement. Both parties are aware and comfortable with the arrangement in an open relationship. It's less what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas versus what happens in Vegas gets discussed over mimosas at Sunday brunch. The most important thing is that you and your spouse must be entirely honest with one another. Talking is a lot of the secret to a healthy open relationship. You must address the limits. Who can do what? What about more relaxed dates? No more than a physical link? Is it okay for them to carry the food from their previous dinner dates home? There must be no ambiguity about these limits. Open partners aren't just the best option for everyone, however. They demand more faith than you would have to leave your phone unattended in the company of a prankster friend, and more endurance than a sloth would need to complete a marathon. On the other hand, for those who put it into practice, it may feel as freeing as slipping off those painfully tight shoes at the end of a hard day. Casual dating. Being emotionally attached with someone while keeping things light, fun, and easy is essentially what casual dating is all about. In a romantic sense, it's the same as showing up in pajamas to a 5-star restaurant. With casual dating, it's like being in a romantic game of musical chairs. The music is continually playing, people are always moving about, and you never know when someone will sit down. It's the kind of dating when partners have sexual encounters but don't plan to be together permanently or commit to anything serious. In casual dating, there's no need to worry about commitment or labels. You can just hang out, go on dates, and maybe even hook up. Try it out for yourself without committing to anything major. It's like the dating world's equivalent of the free samples area. You may relax and enjoy each other's company without worrying about missing a deadline to see their parents or choose a wedding location. Since there's no commitment to exclusivity or infidelity, you are free to pursue other romantic interests as well. Trying not to fall in love is the hardest part, however, since it's human nature to develop attachments. Hybrid relationships. This is where the designer label for relationship types comes in, hybrid relationships. Just as in the build your own concept, in a hybrid relationship, you may combine features of multiple kinds of partnerships to create something new. This arrangement is perfect for those who aren't afraid to mix and match their relationships to suit their needs. It's like going to a relationship buffet and ordering a little monogamy, a sprinkle of open relationship, and a dash of long distance. For instance, consider a monogamous couple that opts to spend each summer apart and embarks on a single adventure. Some couples may be emotionally closed off, yet physically curious about one another's connections. In essence, partners in hybrid relationships are free to pick and choose the aspects of the relationship that work best for them. It must feel freeing, doesn't it? However, difficulties do arise. Complexity develops when there is continual renegotiating and redefining of words. Being completely honest and self-aware is essential in hybrid partnerships. Similar to having a tailor-made vehicle, you obtain just what you want, but there's a great deal more upkeep required. Constantly checking in, tweaking, and confirming that both parties are still in agreement is required. The love highway is your own wreck waiting to happen. However, in cases when it is effective, because they are customized to meet the requirements of each partner, hybrid partnerships have the potential to be very gratifying. Those considering a hybrid system should be prepared to do some serious introspection and establish some firm limits. These partnerships aren't for everyone, but they might fulfill a fantasy for those who seek independence and customization. Submissive-Dominant. So, you overheard your coworker chatting with her boyfriend and thought it was strange that she kept calling him sir or master. Curious about her behavior, you approached her to find out more. She happily told you that she's in a dominant submissive relationship and enjoys being completely controlled by her partner, which is why they call it master. In this type of relationship, one partner takes on the role of the dominating one, often called the top, and the other takes on the submissive role, often called the sub or bottom. The level of power exchange might be mild or severe, but what's important is that it must be mutually agreed upon. Otherwise, neither side will be able to achieve what the other wants. The foundation of the relationship is trust, respect, and defined limits. Nonetheless, there is an acknowledged power dynamic at work. Every aspect of a relationship, from daily interactions to physical intimacy, can be influenced by the roles that both partners willingly assume. The dominant-submissive dynamic is characterized by the dominant-submissive power dynamic. However, the issue here is not whether one party is superior than the other. On the contrary, it's about a scenario where one person has power and the other person voluntarily submits to that authority. Nevertheless, this dynamic may persist across all encounters or be exclusive to certain, such as intimate relationships. Whatever is most practical for them will determine the outcome. The secret ingredient in a dominant-submissive relationship is connection, even if it seems to be all about control. Many who choose to engage in this dynamic report a stronger, more purposeful connection as a result. Partners may be themselves without worrying about what other people think, since they know their boundaries will be respected and trust will be their first priority. This kind of connection isn't for everyone, but for those that find it, it may heal, change their lives, and maybe even become addicted. Long-distance relationships. Two persons are in a long-distance relationship if they are romantically involved, yet geographically apart from one another. It's somewhat similar to playing a video game on the hardest setting. Picture this: Romeo was a New Yorker and Juliet was from Los Angeles. Long-distance relationships may be challenging, let's face it. When you're feeling down, or when Netflix releases a new series that you both want to watch all at once, you can't exactly drop everything and go over to your boyfriend's apartment. Instead, there are a lot of messages, virtual hangouts, and trust. Your phone would feel like an extra hand, and the phrase "I miss you" would become your go-to expression. People in long-distance relationships are pros at sending "wish you were here" selfies from every ordinary place conceivable, falling asleep on FaceTime, and sending goodnight texts. It's a game of emotional ping pong, if you will. A long-distance relationship is more work than folding a fitted sheet, even if the entire thing seems like a paid pen pal arrangement. It's about loving each other even while you're separated, not only keeping in contact. I know it seems crazy, but some couples find that long-distance relationships are the most fulfilling because they learn to rely on one another more and communicate more effectively. Mastering the art of communication is a skill you'll need in a long-distance relationship. From the podcasts you listen to the most often to the events of the day, you cover it all. Having a relationship like this makes you a better communicator since you have to utilize your words more often. The schedule is another consideration. Running a logistics firm is similar to being in a long-distance relationship. Planning around work, school, or family responsibilities is a continual challenge, as is determining who will be traveling next and how much money to provide for their trips. The thought of that next reunion may be the only thing keeping both you going at times, and it's a big production. But hey, if you two can get over all that, it's a fairly strong indication that you two are committed to one another. Adaptability and innovative problem solving are put to the test in LDRs. Ideas include virtual movie evenings via FaceTime, kindness presents delivered unexpectedly, or even virtual date nights in matching pajamas. When faced with adversity, long-distance spouses often find innovative ways to pass the time.